Hello, friends. It is I, Questo Enrico, Questo de Taquiendo de Famioso de People Plays, y yo estoy here to ask you the following question. Are you feeling sluggish? Are you feeling down in the dumps, sluggish? Like, not very motivated to do things? Do you have meow in your heart? Are slugs crawling all over you, leaving their slimy trails on your skin? If so, you're not alone. And we can help here at the Chick Shadle Center, where we force feed you slugs until you stop feeling sluggish. Let me see if the old chatteroo is working. I'm going to put the test. Oh, there it is. Damn you, Sleepy Week. Yeah, well, I had a little bit of a reprieve from Sleepy Week today. My daughter stopped by. And her presence always gives me a kind of magical energy from nowhere. Who knows why? It's a mystery that's yet to be solved. Rachel and I are like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. We're trying to solve the mystery right now.
Yeah.
And when I'm brave, she gives me Scooby snacks.
Aww.
Guess that makes you Shaggy.
I'm Shaggy?
I guess so. Or maybe it makes you Fred. I'm not sure. I put a little creamer in the old cofferoo here.
She even asked if I wanted to have some, but I was like, I could have easily, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're already kind of meow.
Yeah.
You're already doubling your meow. Well, I know I just started this stream, but I already have to pee. So I'm just going to pee real quick over here.
He's not going to lose you guys.
I'm not going to, don't worry. I'm not far away. I'm just over here. If you're just arriving and you're wondering, hey, where's Eric? Don't worry, he's over here. He's peeing. And he'll be done in a second.
Yeah. He's still here.
Sweet, sweet, delightful urination. You're like me, you enjoy releasing bodily fluids. You don't hear anything? Well, I'm trying to limit the sound of it by peeing on the side of my pee bucket.
Ah, there she flows. The salty peanut. Sailor Black says, I'm feeling very sluggish. I had my own sleepy week 2 days.
Yeah, my sleepy week was a couple days long. I'm feeling kind of, in general, it's not just sleepy week. Last couple of weeks, I've been feeling like, kind of like that, I guess, mostly. And a little bit like a stream of urine. Mostly like bodily fluids, I guess. But you know what I always say to myself whenever I'm feeling down or sluggish?
What?
Or slown or duggish? I say, the sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun.
I always knew that. Like, you were the one who came up with that.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Oh, you said right.
That's what I always say. The guy who wrote that song probably got it from me. But he could have come up with it independently. I don't know. It's possible. Since I wasn't alive at the time, probably. When was Annie written?
I don't know.
It's a good question. I'm not really very knowledgeable about my theater history, unfortunately.
Neither am I. I thought it was a 70s thing, but...
If you ask somebody, when will the sun come out? As a Family Feud question, what percentage of the people do you think will say tomorrow? I'm sorry, Salty Peanut. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Oh,
67.
please.
It was before I was born.
An INFJ trying to assemble a twin. I did that, and it turned out to be the most rickety bed that I have ever slept on. And I thought I did such a good job. I paid attention to all of the directions, one by one, and still it was the most rickety bed.
Way better than bed assembly. Well, depends what kind of bed assembly you mean. If you mean like when all the beds get together to vote on things, those are pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That was some good cheese and chicken surprise I just had there.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have another cheese and chicken surprise.
Oh, that's nice. It's a nice combo.
Mm-hmm.
Your cheese and chicken surprise.
So you're moving, huh? In the freezing rain. Doesn't sound like you're moving to someplace very warm. Lord have mercy. What you need to do is sing a rousing verse of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Mm-hmm. What do I see? A coming for to carry me home. Gotta baby, boom, 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 boom. Come for to carry me home. Yes, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. The most cheerful and energizing of songs you can possibly choose if you are feeling sluggish. You know, whenever I'm feeling sluggish, I just put on Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. I'm energized beyond all belief. Oh! Now I can do whatever.
You know he's serious when his eyes get big.
Mm-hmm. Another song from Annie would be It's a Hard Knocks Life.
Oh, yeah, that is.
That's the other famous song from there.
Yeah.
Any additional songs from Annie are certainly less famous than The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow and Hard Knocks Life. You know what I have to say to you, Salty Peanut, regarding living in BFE? It's a hard knocks life.
It opened in 1977.
Oh, Genexco said it was written in 1967.
The original Broadway production opened in 1977 and ran for nearly 6 years.
Does it say when it was written, though?
There's a book. Do you mean the book?
Oh, is the play based on a book?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. When was the book written?
Let me see.
No, that was How Many Family Feud? Oh, 1967. 67 out of 100 would say tomorrow.
There's so much that went into this. Annie is a Broadway musical based upon a popular Harold Gray comic strip, Little Orphan Annie, with music by Charles Strauss, lyrics by Martin Charin, and book by Thomas Meehan.
Who needs landlines, Salty Peanut? Who needs landlines in this day and age?
Yeah.
What made you go there? Was it a man? Did you start dating the mayor of Blum? No bars here? Well. I'm assuming you mean phone bars and not drinking bars. I bet there are drinking bars there. I bet there's at least one bar there.
No, it's interesting. So now Serbia, everything closes at 8 p.m. They have a curfew.
For COVID?
Yeah, it's like moving over. You know, it started somewhere and now like it's going more and more east.
DFW stands for Dallas Fort Worth.
Oh.
You went to Xanax bars? I didn't even think that. That's a youthful term. That's because you're a couple years younger than me, Gen Xil. That's why you're familiar with that term. You want a Vyvanse bar?
A Vyvanse bar?
I only took a 10 milligram today. You want 3 goats and 5 mater plants? Well, that's not an unachievable goal.
Mm-hmm. It really isn't.
Are you finding yourself out in nowhere, in the middle of nowhere? Is that your goal here? Or are you losing yourself? Are you finding yourself or losing yourself in the middle of nowhere? Is Calgon taking you away or is it taking you towards? I want to recommend everybody here that they use Skin So Soft.
Eric's skin is so soft.
That's why my skin is so soft. I use Skin So Soft. It's the #1 brand of skin softening soap. You found a Didrex from your hubby's hoard. What's a Didrex? Must be something they don't make anymore, huh? I bet it's good feed. They tend to stop making the stuff that's real good, you know. Yeah, Rachel and I, we were both feeling pretty meow earlier today. And when Delilah came by, we went to the mall to return a pair of pants that she got at the Gap. No, that's not really C.S. Joseph. Just for everyone's reference. They're originally from Hazard, Kentucky. Didrex is a sympathomimetic amine, similar to an amphetamine used as a short-term supplement to diet. It's a diet pill. They think it's still produced. They just started cracking down on doctors prescribing it for themselves.
Wow. I have Swing Low Sweet Chariot in my head now.
I'm thinking about the Dukes of Hazzard, personally.
Really? Why the Dukes of Hazzard? How'd that go?
Because Salty Peanuts from Hazard, Kentucky.
Oh.
which made me think about the Dukes of Hazzard naturally, and then jumping over an empty riverbed, and mid-jump we get a pause, and then they go to commercial. When you come back from the commercial, they complete the jump.
That's exciting.
And of course, they're going to evade either Boss Hogg or what's Boss Hogg's helper guy? His name? That guy who does that shit. You know what's that guy's name? Boss Hogg's helper. Let me Google it. Who is Boss Hogg's helper guy? Boss Hogg's deputy. Cletus Hogg.
Cletus. I always thought that was a funny name.
Boss Hogg. Jefferson Davis J.D. Hogg, known as Boss Hogg, is a fictional character featured in the American television series Dukes of Hazzard. He was the greedy, unethical commissioner of Hazzard County. A stereotypical villainous glutton, Boss Hogg almost always wore an all-white suit with a white cowboy hat and regularly smoked cigars. His namesake is Jefferson Davis, the President of the Confederate States of America. Boss Hogg is one of only two characters to appear in every episode of the TV series, the other being Uncle Jesse Duke. The role of Boss Hogg was played by Sorrel Brooke, who performed frequently on radio, stage, and film prior to his role in the Dukes of Hazzard. In a typical episode of the Dukes of Hazzard, Boss hires others to carry out his crimes, then diverts the blame onto the Dukes, usually the cousins Bo and Luke. Some of Hogg's favorite schemes include bank and armored car robbery, counterfeiting, fraud, and moonshine running. He especially enjoyed trying to trick Bo and Luke into violating their probation for illegal transportation of moonshine by running moonshine or crossing the county line. Oh, Boss Hogg, you're so mean. Roscoe Pico Train. That's what I was thinking. It was Roscoe Pico Train. Who's Roscoe Pico Train?
Damn, swing low, sweet chariot. Someone give me another song.
Interestingly, his name is Roscoe P. Coltrane. I always thought his name was Cotrain.
Oh.
Roscoe P. Cotrain. Roscoe P. Cotrain. That's what I always thought his name was. But he's the one who goes, something like that, you know. The P stands for purpose. Roscoe Purvis Coltrane is his name. Ah, yeah. I see we were there was a different guy, right? It wasn't Boss Hogg's, because there's Cletus Hogg, but there's also Roscoe P. Cotrain. I can think of throw my hat down on the ground and I can I gotta look up a video of Roscoe P. Cotrain.
boss's chop shop was moving them stolen motorcycles through like a Detroit assembly line.
Let's see what colors you got here. Oh, orange. I like this. That's good. What's this one? Blue. That's pretty.
Lady Gaga sang the national anthem today. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Oh, I don't need this here, Lady Gaga. I didn't. She crushed it.
Good for her.
That is good. I know you would have crushed it too.
Thanks, darling.
Did you know? So I just noticed that the First Lady has to hold the Bible for the president-elect too. That book is very heavy.
Well, you'll manage, Rachel.
I know I will.
I have confidence. I have faith in you.
Just get ready for some being like smooth as along. Can you not be married and be president?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what
You can. There's never been a girlfriend first lady before, but there's no rule against it or anything.
Well, I think the Trump presidency crushed any sort of
Any precedent stuff. Yeah, that's true. You can choose your own book. I'm just going to use a Jehovah's Witnesses pamphlet. Can I do that? Is that allowed? If I choose my own Jehovah's Witnesses pamphlet. I like the pictures. I thought it was very creative, so I went with the Jehovah's Witnesses pamphlet. It threatened me with hell a lot. I appreciate that. You know, if I'm going to be wooed by a religion, I really want to be threatened into believing rather than enticed. So what really works well for me is you're going to go to hell if you don't.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Genex Oil says that you could use your own Bible. Can you use your cell phone? I would fucking love.
No, don't worry. I got it open in my browser. Oh, JWs don't believe in hell? Oh, my bad. Well, I'm not an expert on religions.
What is your favorite podcast?
What is my favorite podcast? I don't listen to any podcasts.
I have a favorite podcast. Let me get it for you.
Quakers don't sign on a Bible. Nixon was a Quaker, but he used the Bible anyway. Nixon was a Quaker? There's a factoid that you're not going to come across very frequently. Nixon was a Quaker. Boy, if you're the Quakers, you must really be pissed at Richard Nixon. We got one president who's a Quaker. And it's got to be you, Richard Nixon. Talk about a shitty representative of your religion, right? You do not want your religion to be known as Richard Nixon's religion. Biden's only the second Catholic. How do you feel about today? It's been progress today. I was feeling kind of depressed earlier today and yesterday, but I feel better this evening a little bit. If you're talking about the inauguration, I don't have any feelings about that at all. It's what happens when a new president is elected.
Nixon's first cover up, the religious life of the Queen for president.
Did anybody ever actually see him quaking though? I don't remember ever seeing any footage of him quaking. Or was he just known as an oatmeal Quaker? Oatmeal Quakers are Quakers who only observe the oatmeal related traditions of Quakerdom, of which naturally there are many. I always watch in case a missile comes out of the sky and kills everyone. It's good to keep an eye on that for us. Appreciate that. She's in cattle country. Winston's mom, it's not okay to like Paula Poundstone. It's not okay. Okay? That's not an acceptable form of extroverted intuition to like.
You know what I wanted to look up before? It's so like our biorhythms are like very compatible.
Mm-hmm.
But like when our biorhythms are compared to like what's going on in the world, we basically are like non-functioning people. Like it's like really, really crazy.
That is kind of true. We're not especially functioning at the moment. I don't know what type Kamala Harris is. I don't know her very well or know much about her really.
Well, who's gonna?
I didn't like car talk. I found it boring. I didn't think their jokes were funny. I didn't like them very much in the sense of, like I didn't enjoy their banter particularly, and I didn't find the subject matter interesting.
I like This American Life.
Yeah, I like This American Life too. Actually, now that you mention it, there is a quote unquote podcast that I like, or they used to listen to a lot, or
It was on NPR.
yeah, and I admired it and respected it, which is This American Life for sure.
I was
guy,
obsessed with it for a while.
what's that guy's name? The main guy?
Want me to look it up?
He's got glasses.
It's something with an N. Nick.
Hi, greetings, wisdom. We've been waiting. Karma's Pampo, thank God you're here. Karma's been standing around being useless. We need you to pimp it out right now. Make some money for us. What's up, guys? Cheese?
Ira Glass.
Ira Glass, right. He's got good art instincts. He's got excellent art instincts.
Yeah.
Karma's Pimp. Can you render leaf trimmers trimmings into Karma for us, please?
Yes.
We'd like you to probably improve all of our Karma scores by 10, 20 points, I guess, at least. Me and Rachel more. Because we're so special. Good. If you got to take away from other people to help us, that's fine. We understand. If Andre Z has to lose some karma in order for Rachel and I to gain some karma, that's okay, unless it long term gets us bad karma. In which case, I don't know.
I was speaking of karma. It makes me think of karma, credit card, like the credit checks.
Credit karma.
Yeah.
Credit
karma. And there's this website where you can like look people up, and you get a score. So like that's how I found Jen's email through that like find.
Oh, did
people
you find
her.
it? Did you ever contact her? Or I never went back to Facebook to see if
Yeah,
that
went
was
to
her mom.
Facebook. Yeah, her mom never. So
Her mom never replied?
no, I don't think so.
Or did you go check?
I mean, I've been. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I would see.
No, you wouldn't see it, I don't think.
No.
Or you might see in my email, actually.
Yeah, that's why I don't think. I have a feeling she didn't reply, but so like her score, Jen's score was like 1.2 or whatever, and I was like, haha, that's so funny. And then I looked at mine. People vote me so bad. I got like 0.25.
What does that mean, though?
I don't know.
What does this say?
I think it has to do with like my credit score and probably like I don't know what that has to do with.
Renaud Contini. I don't know who Renaud Contini is. So, I've been feeling sluggish, is why I titled this video that way. I think Rachel's been feeling a little antsy. And I guess I've been feeling depressed-ish or something. But I also know that generally speaking, these moods don't really link to anything except moods. Not necessarily to anything real, but I feel like in this instance, there's more. It's like there's a lot of little things going on in the world that wear on me a little bit. And I don't know. Makes me. That is creepy. If that's what happened, that's super creepy. When one brother died, they spliced old shows from talking into the current ones. It's ridiculous. Well, see, this is the thing, Greetings Wisdom. It's one of the challenges that I wrestle with is that on some level, there's some personal stuff. My relationship with my dad is complicated. My relationship with my mom is challenging for me as an FI poor person. I guess I feel a little bit stuck in a rut, maybe. I also feel burdened, I guess. Burdened by things I need to do, people I need to attend to, like my dad mostly, and my mom as far as people go. Burdened by not the people, but by my own failure to have clarity about how to consistently engage that issue or something. My failure to have enough FI to challenged, not burdened.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Expectations, obligations, yeah. I'm feeling.
Yes, expectations, obligations, indeed.
Yeah. I'm feeling. I am feeling burdened, but you make a really good point there, Genexiel, which is this is challenging me, and I'm thus far not really stepping up to the challenge. And I know that the time that I can live in this kind of dreamland of of whatever is limited. Because I know that, I find myself almost retreating further into dark playground mode, knowing that the clock's ticking, you know? I got shit to do. But it makes me feel better to say it all out loud, I guess, actually. As far as anime characters, types, and stuff, I think that's a good idea. I want to make more videos about anime. Eric, remember, Haikyuu and friendship is power themes. You've been that way for about 2 weeks, can't get a video going. I mean,
You know what? Maybe it's, sometimes like after the holidays, there's like a lull, and it's like people don't know what to do with themselves because it's like you get first there's Halloween, and then you get Thanksgiving, and then you have Christmas right after that, and then you have New Year's. I mean, it's like a clusterfuck of stuff, and people are nicer and everything. They let stuff fly by or whatever, and then New Year comes around, and it's like the stuff that wasn't addressed comes up. It's like a reality hit.
Sasuke is an ISFP. No, you mad, bro? That's not the issue. I just feel like I don't know how to validate under his metrics, and I just never do, you know? It's it's really more about me being specifically useful to him, and I don't feel like I know how to do that, or that to the extent that I do, I fail to fulfill those things, you know? Well, I mean, this is the challenge I have is because he's NE third and I'm NI Dom, I default to coming up with ideas of things I can do with my dad to spend time with him or whatever, you know? And he never is receptive to those because he's NE third. He wants to come up with all the ideas himself, but he doesn't really present any ideas to us. And
no, his ideas are only like to have dinner together.
Right. So this is my explanation, Zaylen Black. The reason I don't know is because he's my benefactor type. I'm his beneficiary type, and he seems to always be a step ahead of me. When I think about it in terms of my relationship to ENFJs, where I feel like I'm kind of a step ahead of them. But it's challenging because he's NI polar and SI tool. And, you know, he likes consistency. And
yeah, we are not.
I am just not very consistent by
I'm not
nature.
either, though. Like,
Yeah.
we're both just not consistent people.
Right.
When it comes to routines and stuff, anyway. When it comes to SI. it hurts, man. It hurts. Like,
Well,
it's something that I have been thinking about too, because I feel like so lost in the dark in it as well, because I think the things that you're proposing and bringing up to him are good ideas. Like, that the only difference is if he were the one who'd bring up the idea first, then it would be fine. But you bringing up the idea is not fine, and that stinks.
well, you mad bro. Get over it. That's the only solution. Thanks. That's very, very helpful.
Yeah, that
It's
is.
extremely helpful. I appreciate it. Talk about wisdom. There
That
is.
is right.
Have you consider being a therapist? Right? You know what? I bet that's gonna work on just about everybody. It's like, oh, I never thought about that. I should just get over it.
Yes, thank you for the magic pill.
Yeah, silly me. I forgot about my coffee over here.
Oh no.
It's too cold to melt the
Powder?
Damn. God, what a waste.
Yeah, but does that really bother you that much?
Pouring out that coffee?
Yeah.
Not really.
So, well,
You caught me. I don't like it. I'm a dreamer. He's a hard ass. Well, he's definitely a hard ass.
yeah.
I guess I'm a dreamer of sorts. It's funny, I never used to would have thought of myself as such. I used to be so I used to be quite the hard ass myself, I guess you could say. I was the
Do you
director.
think?
Well, I mean, when I back for a number of years, I was director of Kudos, and I had a lot of responsibility, and I tended to be very no nonsense.
I could see that. I see you with, Jeffrey.
Yeah, but like my current work is delightful compared to that. I don't have to be an administrator anymore, which is nice. I didn't like the life consuming aspect of being in that role, because it really does. When you are an executive, quote unquote, of some sort, and you're not the boss, then you're responsible for a lot of shit, and you're responsible to see that it gets accomplished. Period. So if somebody doesn't show up, well, that's another couple hours you got to work because you got to take care of that shit. It's the position I had was too much work for me, ultimately, to sustain over the long haul. And the boss was one of those bosses that rewarded competency with more work, which is fairly common. But
Yeah, someone told me once that only do
only do what you have to.
Yeah. Because if you do more, then they'll expect more. They'll give you more tasks.
I mean, the thing is, it's like I was self-motivated in large part, and it was because I had some sense of ownership over the results of the squad and everything. Like those were my teams, and I was the head coach, and so in that sense, it was important to me as a project. But the problem was the administration job I had was more encompassing than just being the head coach, and it started to take over the head coaching, I guess you could say, and that's when I lasted a couple of years of that, but I got fired eventually. I got fired for bullshit politics reasons, basically. Even though it was not possible to consider there being somebody who could be more successful at the thing than I had been, but she didn't like my attitude. At a certain point, after I quit drinking, she didn't like my attitude. Before I quit drinking, I didn't have any attitude except get the job done. Try to avoid getting busted for being a drunk, you know? So Ken says, I don't buy into the BS that FI is selfish. It's more bad to E, bringing it into negative, not thinking of what FE is also selfish, but outward, I feel like. I mean, I don't think, well, put it this way. There are two instincts that are both good instincts. One instinct is to be a team player. And the other instinct is to be true to yourself, right? And when and where those things conflict, the border between where and when those things conflict marks the distinction between FE and FI. So if you find being a team player much easier to understand and the goal that you find most universalizable, then you're going to tend to view FI as selfish. But if you view authenticity as a primary frame, then you're going to tend to view FE as selfish in that it's asking others to give too much of themselves. So it's whether or not a given thing is selfish depends on basically your frame of reference. The thing is, the reason, TI people might tend to say that FI is selfish is that it's going to prioritize, if used as a decision-making metrics, it's going to prioritize subjective data. Now, does that make it actually selfish? Well, again, that's not a term that you can establish as being particularly meaningful, Successful FE is ultimately self-serving, in the sense that you're managing other people's perceptions of you. But it's also the case that there's a value associated with it of being a team player that can run afoul sometimes of your own interests, and how clearly you understand your own interests and where those get prioritized over being a team player will tell you a lot about where FE and FI are in your stack. So like a really young and naive and well-loved ENTP will be way too good of a team player in their first relationship, as Isaiah Rude was, putting up with all kinds of crazy nonsense, just trying to be a good team player, because they're FI polar, and allow themselves to be abused and have boundaries crossed that should never be crossed, and not get that that's happening even for quite some time after it. Eric, I was trying to understand any, and I was wondering if you think it may be confused with Christian traits, or am I totally misunderstanding it? Do I think extroverted intuition is associated with Christian traits? No, not at all. I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. How about pick your battles? Be true to yourself, but a team player when either are best or most needed. I mean, it's like that's nice, and that's nice. It's a nice thing to say, but in reality, people prioritize one frame of reference over the other. So, like, it's like, how do I feel right now? How do you feel right now? Are two questions I ask in a typing session. And people who are FI DOMs, I just typed in ISFP. I asked, how do you feel physically right now? And he said, nervous. That's not a physical feeling. That's an emotion, right? And he's like, no, it's a physical feeling too. So he explained what it was. And I said, okay, well, how do you feel physically though? Besides that, besides and he said, no, that's how I feel physically, is nervous. So, and then he explained to me that there were lots of times when how he felt was something that he couldn't put into words for people. That's an indication of why the values associate, kind of. Like, if you think that fundamentally people mean things and words are how people attempt to express what they mean, then that's an FI frame of reference. If you think that words mean things and that people either use them to mean correct things or use them to mean incorrect things, then that's a TI kind of perspective. And that breaks down to a valuing of being a team player. In other words, being willing to agree that language constrains rather than attempts to express a person. Then the absolute value is going to be accordingly cooperative in nature. Whereas, not the absolute, but the conscious value. Whereas if you're an FI person, then the conscious value is going to be expressive rather than communicative, or experiential rather than communicative. Well, for people who have, sorry about that. That was probably pretty loud. For people who have FE as a tool function, they utilize being a team player all the time. In other words, they default to being a team player without just kind of as a matter of course, using FE as a tool function, but they don't actually value it inherently. So the thing is, whether you consciously use being a team player and therefore kind of expect everyone to at least accept that frame of reference, or whether you absolutely value being a team player, being an FE user in the front stack is different than being an FI user in the front stack. TE or FE DOM? I do think I do okay socializing, but feel very limited. But if there's a task that needs to be completed, like helping customers at work, I can talk to them easily because I know the topic. TE, not FE. What about wanting to be a team player because of personal convictions to make the subject feel the need to maintain closeness with whom they deem to be a good person? Well, loyalty is a bit different than being a team player. I think that's maybe the distinction you're making there. So, like Delilah and I both feel a great deal of loyalty towards one another, and a willingness to be a team player with one another, and also a preference to not have that expectation put on us or to put on other people. We share those qualities. So Delilah and I don't see each other very often. We expect very little of each other. And if either one of us fails to follow through on something, it's not a big deal generally, unless we specifically say, this is a big deal. Can you make sure this happens or whatever? Like she was supposed to come over 2 days ago. They're supposed to come over yesterday. She didn't come over, and she came over today. She came over late. And it's like, I don't care, right? That shit doesn't bother me. It has to do with being an action type. You expect action, action types expect other people to be like they are, which is, I know I said that, but things have changed, right? That's how action types tend to be. As we get older, we learn that doesn't really cut it. And, that's one of the things that generally, burdens me is I know that there's a lot of stuff that I have to get done, and I accept it, and yet I guess I find myself struggling to grow up when I need to, But I guess that's part of this process for this period of time right now, which is this extended phase. I think my life's always gone through kind of phases. Yeah, what? That's so interesting. You point that out, Oliver Linehan. It's true. I was surprised to learn that as well. That that FI could be identified by paying attention to the physicalities of it. And that just goes to show you what happens when you're backslot. It's so foreign to you. If you're SI front stack, your life goes through phases. Is just how it is. Yeah. When you're SI fourth and NI fifth, you tend to have these kind of grand chapters. It tends to correlate with external events, physical events, brainstorms, things like that. Does FE not experience anxiety? FE experiences plenty of anxiety. Anxiety is, I guess, an FI experience, right? The thing is, we use a lot of shorthand that's misleading. So when I say, there's a lot of NI in that media right there, that's a sloppy way to talk about something. When a person produces a piece of media and puts it onto the external metaphysical field, that process of putting information is one thing. Then when you encounter that thing and attend to it, you're attending via mostly epistemological function. So if you're watching a video and not interacting with it, so it's not a live stream where you can say something back, but it's just like an anime or something. You're engaging with it via your deliberation functions and your knowledge functions. So for me, the reason I find anime so gratifying to watch, or easy to fall into a kind of an addictive relationship with it, is because it's gratifying to my NI and my FI, unconsciously absolute values, and it employs my SI as subsumed by the intuitive frame. In other words, I link shit to what I've seen before, not what's happened to me in real life. And it doesn't require a lot of TI tool function. So it's very comfortable, you know. It's also forsaking who I am for what I like. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know. It feels like a bad thing right now. It feels like it's become a bad thing. At the same time, I also recognize that it's foolish of me to put too much weight into a mood in a given moment until it's persisted for a long time. I think this mood's persisted for a long time comparatively, but I'm not really sure. It's hard for me to pay attention to that. I think this also links potentially to in the last couple of weeks preceding today, I wasn't feeling very well physically. Like I was a little bit sick, perhaps had an infected tooth, and had a cold and stuff or something. So there's that as well. You know, it's like there's so many different factors. It makes it impossible for me to really meaningfully NI this. Mel's been marshed for about 2 or 3 weeks now. Yeah, well, I haven't felt well physically. I feel better. I feel like I've gotten over my cold more or less, and so anyway, I'm not sure what it all means, but yeah, I started gargling with hydrogen peroxide, and it seems to have helped. So anyhow, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I will be live streaming again tomorrow. And maybe making some videos and stuff. We'll see exactly what happens. I'm hoping to go to bed here pretty soon.
I know I am.
And get some sleep and wake up in the morning and start a new day. So thanks for being here, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. You can buy them over the counter now, antibiotics. Huh. If you could, maybe I would. I'll have to look into that. Peace out.